Mr. President, Senator Booker of New Jersey is on the floor, and the three of us were asked to come at 3, and because the roll call was delayed. And I'd like to ask consent, if it's all right with the senator from Ohio, that Senator Booker be allowed to follow me to complete this statement on legislation that we are supporting.
Is there objection? Without objection.
Thank you very much. I'm going to be brief because I want to defer and give my time to the senator from New Jersey. Mr. President, we're going through a moment in America's history which we're going to remember for a long time. We're used to shooting deaths. Sadly, gun violence has become part of America. And unfortunately, we're also used to mass murders where more than 4 people are killed in one of these shooting incidents. But it rocked America's conscience and soul when 5 policemen in Dallas were murdered. Those 5 policemen were Officer Brent Thompson, age 43, Officer Patrick Zamaripa, age 32, Officer Mike Kroll, age 40, Senior Corporal Lauren Ahrens, age 48, and Sergeant Michael Smith. Yesterday, President Obama and former President Bush were there for the memorial service to honor these men and to honor everyone in law enforcement who gets up each morning, puts on a badge, and risks their lives for us, for me, for my family, for my neighborhood, for my community, for my town, for my state, and for my nation. America was rocked by the senseless murder that took place in Dallas, Texas. But it isn't the only thing that has really stung the conscience of America. At the same time, we have seen some shocking and disturbing videos. In Baton Rouge, the home state of the presiding officer, Louisiana, Alton Sterling, a 37-year-old father, was shot and killed outside a convenience store. Falcon Heights, Minnesota, Philando Castile, age 32, fatally shot in his car during a police traffic stop for a broken taillight. His fiancée and her 4-year-old daughter were in the car. Those events, those 3 events came together, the killings of the police in Dallas and these video shootings, and shocked the conscience of America in a way that I haven't seen before. It really called into question some basics about our country and where we're going and what we need to do. President Obama said we must try to find common ground when he spoke at this memorial service. He's right. I thought about that over the weekend, and I called my colleague and friend from New Jersey and talked to him about it. And I said to him, when it comes to really showing America, and particularly those who feel aggrieved by the current state of justice, our bill on criminal justice reform speaks to a fundamental issue as to whether or not minority populations, people of color, are treated fairly in our system of justice. Senator Lee just spoke. Senator Lee, for those who may not know him, Senator Lee is a conservative, Tea Party conservative, I believe he would proudly say, conservative Republican from the state of Utah. Senator Lee is joining us, Durbin of Illinois, Booker of New Jersey, and Senator Grassley of Iowa in this effort. Now, how many times, Mr. President, do we run into that? Where 4 senators with such diverse political beliefs come together on one bill, this bill. Because as Senator Lee explained, what we are setting out to do here is to right an injustice that is filling the federal prisons, sentencing individuals for lengthy sentences for nonviolent, non-gun drug offenses. This is long overdue, and it's something that we need to do. And if we did it, it would say to those across America who are asking, is Congress listening? Is the Senate awake to what's going on in our country? It would say to them, yes. On a bipartisan basis, these 4 senators and many more are prepared to bring reform to our criminal justice, correction, and sentencing system. Will it solve all our problems? No, not at all. But it's a significant step forward. I was serving in the U.S. House of Representatives over 25 years ago when a famous basketball star at the University of Maryland died from a drug overdose. We were shocked by this. And they came in and said, it is possible that he was a victim of crack cocaine. We'd never heard the term before. What is crack cocaine? New form of cocaine crystals that are cheap, highly addictive, and destructive. Len Bias was his name. And we were asked to put into the law a sentencing provision which would be warning to everyone across America, don't use crack cocaine. We did. We imposed a new sentencing guideline for crack cocaine, 100 times the penalty over powder cocaine, 100 times. And what it meant, sadly, over a span of 25 years, is that hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals were convicted of possessing, selling crack cocaine and sentenced for extraordinarily long sentences. I ran into one of them from the city of Chicago. Let me tell you his story. It's brief, but it tells the story. Alton Mills, 1994, age 24. He was a runner, a seller when it came to street drugs. He was caught on his third offense of selling street drugs, third offense. He had never served a day in jail, not one. His two previous offenses ended up in probation, didn't end up in any correctional time. But this third one was the third strike. It turned out that Alton Mills, at age 24, for his third sale of crack cocaine, was sentenced to life in prison. Life in prison. He languished there. Thank goodness his mom and dad never gave up on him. He found a public defender whose name, ironically, was My Angel Cody, who went to work and fought for him and took her message to every office, including mine, and I took her message to the White House. Alton Mills' sentence was commuted. He came out of prison after 22 years behind bars. That's one example, 22 years. So what we're trying to do is to come up with a sentencing system that is sensible, that punishes those who are guilty, for sure, but does it in a smart and thoughtful way. And in reforming it, saying to populations across America, yes, we can be a more just society. This criminal justice reform idea is one that is not only bipartisan, but passed out of the Senate Judiciary Committee in October of last year. October. Vote of 15-5, a bipartisan roll call. It came out of committee. Why haven't we taken up this bill? Why don't we take this up as soon as we return in September? Why don't we say to people across America, we're going to do something positive in terms of restoring justice in this country to everyone across the board in this bipartisan bill? That's why we come to the floor today. And that's what we're asking for. It will save money for taxpayers, in addition to bringing justice to the system. And I believe that money that we save can be brought back to our law enforcement agencies for training and equipment. So let's show our faith in their effort to keep America safe, and let's show our commitment to justice in this reform. I'm fortunate, Mr. President, because I was joined in this struggle by then a brand new senator from New Jersey named Cory Booker. And he has been an extraordinary voice in this effort. Senator Lee and I were doing pretty well until Cory Booker came along, and now he has added more firepower and more horsepower to this effort than any other senator could, certainly any new senator. I commend him for helping us in this effort and being committed to it in his heart. And I would like to, at this point, yield the floor to my junior colleague from the state of New Jersey, Senator.